Hello YouTube, we're hitting you up with YouTube exclusive after YouTube exclusive, or at least trying to fit some more in here while we have some time off and at the end of the year. Now at the beginning of 2020, we ended up putting out a red rack list, and this got quite a bit of attention. In fact, it was the most viewed in 2020. And so, without further ado, to kick off 2021, or very close to it, let's revisit at least the rack archetype. Now rack's been struggling lately, so what color do we add here? Let's find out. Rack, the rack, 8 rack, many names for it, but we're going to be playing a smallpox variant or white rack here in modern. Now, red was the splash earlier this year with Croxes and lightning skelementals occasionally finding their way into the list, and that was all good. Prowess though is on the rise. Thalia and first striking creatures are as well. And, well, frankly, rack has been struggling because everything has draw a card stapled to it. So, how do we avoid that? Well, in this instance, we're going to be targeting a few lands as well with the inclusion of smallpox. And personally, I think the reason that white might be the splash, at least here at the beginning of 2021, is for the card Kaya's Guile. Now, I think this card is very underrated right now and has a great place to be played in the meta. Just like Skyclave Apparition trickling up to probably one of the most played cards here at the end of the year, Kaya's Guile I think should be one of those that you should be monitoring from the sideboard slot or maybe even main decked. Now, if you're not familiar with this one, it's going to allow sacrificing, getting rid of graveyards. You can put a token in play or even gain a little bit of life, so it kind of does it all. In most cases, you won't entwine though, so we'll see how often we get this going. Now, this list did recently 5-0, as in it did recently in the month of December, so it's not a complete just what would happen if we added white. We have Kaya herself in here as well. We've got Ashiok. We've got definitely the Planeswalkers here with Liliana and Davriel showing up. This is a 7 rack variant, which probably makes a little bit of sense here, being that we have the smallpox and it's probably a little bit harder to just get to this 3 mana or to be able to play the rack effects plus your Inquisitions, your Thoughtseizes, and maybe even your Raven's Crimes. One last thing that was very interesting with this list is a set of Mazemind Tomes. Now this, just like in Red Prison, helps us gain life, scry cards appropriately, and in rare situations could help us draw cards as well, giving us the option to play more things. Our mana curve is relatively low, and with a few lingering souls to punch in for those last points of damage, which might be very important considering everything draws a card now, here is your white rack list, your smallpox variants. The rack 2021 kickoff here. This is what I think you should be playing. Let's see if that's the case though. The league coming up next. White racked smallpox variant rack here queued up and looking for our first opponent. Now I believe we will be relatively the underdog, but we'll find out how often we truly are the underdog. I hope I don't get to pick first or second. I'm very bad with that in rack, but in most cases we will go second if we can. Too many things draw too many cards and we need that advantage when we can get it. Rack, white rack here in modern. And we get the choice here. I'm going to opt not to go first here. And we've got a pretty stellar hand to kick things off. No flagstones to help us with smallpox. That's okay though. You don't have to get everything. Go ahead and keep this opening hand. My opponent mulligans to 6. Maybe it's a good time for rack after all. Let's find out what we're playing against. Good luck, opponent. Let's see what you got. Well, flagstones is not very good here. Sarah's Ascendant, and did we just teleport back to I don't know when, but very long time ago? Interesting. So we have a Sarah's Ascendant here. Probably still want to just Thoughtseize? I might do it off the Urborg here, just because if I do draw all flagstones, I could smallpox, although that's maybe not very good. We'll give it a shot though. Urborg here, let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. I can probably Blood Chiefs the Sarah Ascendants away. Let's see what else we've got going on. Well, we've just got a bunch of 1-drops. Giant Killer's not too frightening. Martyr Sands is a bit frustrating to see. and more Sarah's Ascendants. Let's go ahead and take the Martyr of Sands and pass the turn. Quite the hand there. All 1-drops. Too bad we're not playing Prison, Chalice on 1, or even Blood Moon. Sarah's Ascendant comes in here for 1, hits us for 1, gains them a life, 21-17, and they'll play a Martyr of Sands. All right, so we have the option of a Smallpox. I don't think I want to be doing that. I think it's Blood Chiefs plus Shrieking Affliction here. Probably a down tick to kill the remaining Sarah's Ascendant. We're not going to be putting any creatures with power 4 or greater anytime soon. I sort of hate revealing that I'm Rack, but I think to prevent them from gaining a bunch and making Sarah's Ascendant just huge here, I think I want to do this. And this way, this Liliana down tick is a pretty obvious kill. Now, if my opponent lacks a land on this next one and we end up top decking a land, I might Smallpox so I can Smallpox a creature and then Liliana afterwards. They do indeed get the Ghost Quarter though. Doesn't really help them because of all the white pips that they have. Really shouldn't be a problem though for them. They'll probably just play a new Sarah's Ascendant. We have 2/1/1s to beat. All right. Well, we find ourselves with a Fatal Push. This is actually pretty nice here. We could just Fatal Push one of these and just Maze Mind Tome is probably okay. It seems completely reasonable here. Could have Liliana upticked, but I think this is okay. Let's go ahead and just Fatal Push one of these now before they get some defensive spell, and we'll pass back. I don't know if I'm going to use this Maze Mind Tome immediately here, or if I'm going to try to draw with it. I think it'll depend if they want to put down the Giant Killer or not. This is the same card, so let's go ahead and make it like this. Plenty of basics for us. They could take me technically off white. I don't believe I have a Plains, which really would be just completely fine with us. They go after their own flagstones here. This does make Smallpox slightly more interesting to play. They do get double white, I presume, here. Oh, Mistvale Plains. Cool. Now, if there's a way to protect the Liliana, that would be ideal. I'll probably take a Scry here with this first Maze Mind Tome, at minimum. They might also hold on to all their cards because of the Shrieking Affliction. This would give me the opportunity to get the Liliana down, which would be super nice. Just depends. I could see them somewhat holding here, but I also could see them adding to the board. Well, they play a land here, so they are adding to the board. Gonna play a Giant Killer down? They do. All right. Well, they're not afraid of my Shrieking Affliction, apparently. Let's go ahead and Maze Mind Tome to see what's on top. It's a castle. It is a castle. I could play the castle and then redraw. And when I redraw, I can then use Smallpox to kill one of these, make them discard, and discard the drawn card. I think we can go ahead and put this on top. It's kind of an interesting line here, but it makes the best use out of our Smallpox and allows me to get Liliana down, probably down ticking, killing their last creature here. That'll be the hope, at least. So put the castle out. Let's go ahead and do a redraw. Perfect card to get rid of. We'll go ahead and Smallpox. Get rid of Godless Shrine here. Get rid of the swamp. They get rid of their path. They're going to lose a creature. And we have Liliana coming up just next. Looking good. Maze Mind Tome already paying off here. Shrieking Affliction triggers here. Go ahead and trigger that. This will probably never grow. That's good for us. I could also see them holding on to this last card. This is definitely something that could kill them. And they do. Excellent. Go ahead and Lily. I like the idea of just down ticking and not playing this swamp here. Swamp gives me an option here. I could also draw with the Maze Mind Tome. Feels pretty good here. I presume something should show up. I feel like we're a bit ahead against, well, the Soul Sisters. Seems like a blast to the past. That is for sure. We're at the end step here. I'm not going to use Maze Mind Tome. I think I can get better value out of drawing with this. In which case, we're going to go ahead and do the draw exactly. Davriel looks pretty juicy here. Play our land and uptick. Pass turn. We'll get rid of a swamp, obviously. A path is pitched to the bin. Looking pretty strong here. Shrieking Affliction triggers here. Let's go down to 14. Not sure how my opponent gets out of this one. Plays a land here. And a 3-drop Skyclave Apparition. Does get rid of the Liliana here. Pretty good for them. Pretty good for them. This does mean they're empty-handed, though. And I don't have to downtick them with Davriel. So Davriel plus the Shrieking Affliction is both going to do damage this next 2 turns. A land, so we can easily Maze Mind Tome here. Drawing a card. It's a Flagstones. Put Davriel into play. Once again, I do not have to downtick. And we'll just pass the turn here. Shrieking Affliction plus Davriel might be enough here across the next 2 turns. Trigger, trigger. Go ahead and yield as well. Down to 9, take 2, plus 3, down to 6. And my opponent does concede here. We were going to be able to play the swamp and take whatever draw here. It happens to be a Maze Mind Tome. Probably go ahead and just play that and draw again. And ends up being a swamp. A little ways away from getting like another Davriel or a way to get rid of Skyclave. But with the Shrieking Affliction and this own Davriel, I think we were looking pretty good. Okay. So Plague Engineer looks actually pretty decent here. The Sarah's Ascendance and other things could be beaten by something like that. I could see Kaya's Guile and also Usurper would be pretty good here. I like these. I was a little iffy about this Plague Engineer, but of course we run into the first list that's got it going on. My opponent does have Flagstones, which makes Smallpox just a little bit awkward. Lingering Souls isn't a bad chump blocker. Bridge looks really strong. Really hate to take out the Maze Mind Tomes because it works so well there, but it may just be worth it for some of this removal. And then do I need as many Lingering Souls? I'm probably not getting through. We could just take 6 out and put these 6 in and just look for a way to put the Usurper and the last Plague Engineer in. Which at this point, Wrench Mind's looking pretty good. Honestly, it might be just like... I want to say swap out a Liliana, but Liliana's not bad either as just an Edict effect. I just want all the Plague Engineers here. Maybe it's a random Raven's Crime for the Usurper, and then we just don't worry about the last Plague Engineer because that's maybe overkill. Also may just be just a Smallpox out. Just Smallpox and just hammer them with Plague Engineers here. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're basically swapping out Lingering Souls for Kaya's Guile here, and then we're just bringing in a bunch of things that are going to just slowly detract from what my opponent's trying to do here. Opening hand looks okay. I think we can go ahead and keep this one. We can do Blood Chief's Thirst here, followed up with a Wrench Mine, and then see where Liliana's at. My opponent's mulligan to 6 as well. We'll definitely keep. I believe they're on the play as well. Not a great thing for my opponent having to mulligan and be on the play against a hand like this. Smallpox. White Rack. Doing its thing here. Mistveil Plains in play. No other follow-up here. Looks like I'll be fetching a non-basic. Extra Liliana. I guess I should have swapped one of these out at this point. Be nice to have something different than all my Lilianas. Extra land here. 2-drop. Squadron Hawk's a really good one. Squadron Hawk's pretty good. Fills their hand back up here. We'll see how many they have of these. They could just fill it all the way up if they wanted to. And they do. Back to 7. It's a good one. That's a good one. All right, we got a couple Blood Chiefs here. We can probably get around to that next. Let me go ahead and Wrench Mine to clear some of these cards out of their hand. While we have a chance. I don't expect them to have an artifact here, so this Wrench Mine should be pretty solid. Might even just get a couple of these Squadron Hawks, and it does. Nice. All right. We might be just playing like Liliana Downtick here. I don't know. We'll see if there's anything super threatening. There's a Ranger. Blood Chiefs is 2 or less. I need 4 mana to have it hit the Ranger here. It's funny because the Ranger also puts things into my opponent's hand. Speaker of the Heavens goes to hand and my opponent attacks for 1. I'm going to see quite a few creatures here. It might be just Liliana Downtick. Ooh, hold on. Plague Engineer is kind of interesting because I can name Bird. I can name Bird with this one. I'm actually super tempted to do this because I know they have another Squadron Hawk. This means they're just going to hold it. I could also name Human. Human's probably smarter. It would also shrink this. Let's go ahead and name Human. I have something to deal with this in the sky. If they play another Squadron Hawk anyway here, I've got many of these Plague Engineers. They purge away my Plague Engineer, all right. Thanks. We see the Squadron Hawk, and I see another Plague Engineer we'll be naming Bird. There's the Speaker. All right, so here, let's go ahead and cast with Kicker on the Ranger. Not too worried about Speaker of Heavens getting enough life here to create angels just this turn. I think we'll be okay. Obviously got a lot of Lilianas to deal with here. We'll get through them. They may even hold cards right now because they just don't want to deal with potentially the rack starting to do damage. There's a Martyr. There's a Human, by the way. We're going to gain a lot of life. So we have Squadron plus Ondu's Inversion. Destroy all non-land permanents is the option here at 8 mana. So here's Plague Engineer. It's probably just Liliana and Blood Chief here. I'll downtick, they'll probably get rid of the Squadron Hawk. I probably need to get rid of the Speaker, albeit there's not too much that's frightening here. We'll see what they wish to sacrifice. Probably just the Angel. Nope. All right, let's go ahead and kill the Angel here. This makes things a little bit awkward, but the Plague Engineer naming just Human clears this versus losing to the Squadron Hawk. We're also not worried about the inversion at this point in the game. My opponent attacks Vigilance Lifelink at Liliana, putting them to 28. Keeps me at 10. I'm good with that. This is 7 more life that you have. We've misread this card. I thought you had to gain 7. Well, then. Small problems. All right, a few humans are out here. We can definitely deal with these. Yeah. We'll just name Human here. We're not totally wrecked just yet. I do have another angel I have to deal with, but I also have a 2-1 here. Looks like they might attack me for 6. Probably have to block. We have the Squadron Hawk to deal with. If I get hit for 6, I have to find a single targeted removal for that. Uh-oh. Batterskull. Batterskull. Not naming human here leaves me with an angel that I needed to get rid of. Smallpox doesn't do it here. Liliana Downtick doesn't do it either because the equipment just gets moved over. All right, opponent. We named incorrectly there, and we should have cleared the human. I was thinking it needed something else to work. All good. We'll make it happen here. I don't think there's any changes I really want to be doing here. I think we can just run this back. Definitely liked what we had going on. Just a small misstep on our naming of our Plague Engineers. And Plague Engineer naming human definitely looks good. Celestial Purge and Paths are available to our opponent. They'll probably bring in a few Paths to deal with Plague Engineer if they ended up stripping all of their Paths out. Small misstep there. Cost us long run of the game. Would we have been able to recover? It's tough to say. Wouldn't mind to see a hand with Bridge. It doesn't feel like they have too much that would deal with the rack, just because of we pretty much churned through all they had. They had the flip land, but that's going to be a lot before they're able to play that. Buys us plenty of time. We'll see. Match 1, game 3 here. A bit of a throwback. Little bit. All right, I will not play first. We're going to be sure we do that frequently. I've got a Plague Engineer here and an Inquisition. This feels fairly decent. Go ahead and keep. I don't particularly like seeing the 2 flagstones, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Inquisition will be the leading card here, followed by Rack. My opponent has the Nemeria back in play here. Removal pieces would be nice. Thoughtseize is cool to see as well. We can Inquisition, then Thoughtseize the Rack. Let's see what we've got. Lucky for us, no Leyline of Sanctity. That would probably be pretty detrimental. All right, so we have a Stoneforge here, Purge and Skyclaves. Probably just have to take this Stoneforge. I wonder if I'm supposed to run out the rack even though I know the Skyclaves are there, or just hang tight with it. I might just have to hang tight with it. Ghost Quarter. It looks like my opponent hit a 2-drop. They hit Stoneforge Mystic, so back-to-back Stoneforges here. The other thing I could do is Thoughtseize away the Marius Call. Batterskull, I'll probably be taking that. Top of the library for us is a Bloodstained Mire. Let's go ahead and fetch with the Bloodstained Mire, thinning the library ever so slightly here. We do not want to hit too many more lands. Go ahead and Thoughtseize away the Batterskull. It's a problem card for us. Not worried about Purge completely yet. All right, so they do have their 3rd land here. I'm wondering if Rack just needs to come down or if we need to wait. We probably can go ahead and bait with the Rack here. I don't see this really benefiting us for the foreseeable future here. We do need to stop drawing lands, and if I can do that, a Smallpox wouldn't be a bad thing to draw. I'll take a Smallpox. I'll take Fatal Push. I'll take all kinds of stuff. Basic Plains here. Skyclave, number 1. Gets rid of rack, hits for 1. 1620. Looking okay. In for 1. Alright. Not bad for us so far. Top of the library is a eliminate. Alright. I don't know if there's a reason to wait on this or not. I think I'm going to go ahead and just play Plague Engineer and name... I kind of want to name Human, but I could also name Spirit right now. So let's name Spirit. I presume this is going to get killed, probably by the Purge, but maybe my opponent wants to get the Skyclave. My hope is they put the Skyclave in and then I can eliminate and have a 3/3 that's blue that can block either of these. Preferably blocking this one at the moment. We'll see if they want to do that or if they want to purge. Purging would be completely fine from them as well. Right now this nicely blocks, so one of these is going to come down. They don't exactly want to wait here and tap out of something else that they might have drawn, on the off chance I find myself with another Plague Engineer and then get to kill both the Spirit. Perfect. All right. So they're holding up that Purge on the off chance that they draw on the off chance we draw a, excuse me, Liliana or another, like a Shrieking Affliction. All right, in for 3. No worries here. Purge and this Marius Call. Marius Call's 7 mana. They're at 4. A little ways away from this. A little ways away. We're going to hold the Flagstones here as long as I can in case I do top deck Fatal Push. Because then we can use that with the Skyclaves here. We only have 1 of Fatal Push, so it's going to be a little ways before we have that. This is instant speed, so we'll wait until the attacks and see if we can snag this. Flooding out pretty hard here, which feels a bit poor. I'm hoping they attack with everything. Getting a 3/3 here and hoping this last card's not a path will probably turn this game back around a little bit, at least giving us some breathing room. It's actually good to see them cast something here. Even if it's Ranger, I'm kind of okay with this. Kind of okay. They get to fill their hand with a few one drops. Sarah's Ascendant plus a Martyr, probably. Maybe that Angel creating token as well. Speaker and Martyr. There you go. They swing with everything, which is good for us. We get to eliminate and then also block here, which gives us some breathing room here. Not much breathing room, but just enough. Just enough. Not going to worry about Stoneforge here. It's the least amount of damage. I'm also not too worried about another artifact, though they could find another Stoneforge and go get something like a sword or something like that. Blood Chiefs here would be fine to get rid of Ranger. Plenty of things that I would happily take. Not a Marsh Flats. We'll go ahead and pass the turn here. We got a few blue creatures. That's nifty. I need them to not have a bunch of life here, but that's probably going to happen with this Martyr. I really probably have to find... This is an interesting attack here. I will block here and I will not block here just yet. I'll take a little bit of damage here. Gonna play with our life total. 4 mana. Another Ranger. All right. Well, I would take Granted, they have the Purge. I was going to say I could take a Plague Engineer, but that's not going to work with the Purge. Sarah's Ascendant and Martyr show up here. We're going to go to 8. Again, just trying to survive here. I guess Bridge is what I'm looking for at this point. Bridge, and then giving me some time here to whittle through their hand, which they've put a lot of things into their hand with. Looking to fetch with this Marsh Flats, Godless Shrine. Not entirely sure what I'm looking for other than Bridge. I don't have a Wrath effect, unfortunately. Smallpox isn't the worst. Wonder if I attack with the illusion if I can get them to lose this one. We won't worry about it. Smallpox here. We will discard the swamp. This way I can have another flagstones as well. Does get rid of a land here, which could slow them down. I'm expecting Ghost Quarter to disappear here. And killing one of these rangers isn't the worst thing. Flagstone ability here. Obviously we'll use this. We have one left. I'm not going to put the other flagstone into play just yet, so it makes it look like I've got a nice spell in hand. All right, Martyrs played. Gonna sacrifice Martyr here. 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My opponent's picked up a Stoneforge Mystic, which is pretty good here. Looks like they're going to attack. I'm clearly going to block here. Don't need to lose any more life. We'll see if they decide to play anything here. They could play the Speaker, right? Maria. Bolted in. Speaker. And a Sarah's Ascendant. I got it all going on. All right, I need something. Well, that's 7. We'll see if they attack me. I'll hold both of these cards here, drawing a lot of our lands. Probably punted game 2 away a little bit, not naming human and having plenty of removal. Didn't go together though. Blast Zone here. My opponent's barely drawn any lands here. Hits for 7 and Soul Sisters takes it down. Game 1, game 3, match 1. That was a blast to the past. Let's see how White Rat continues here. Smallpox. Let's go to our next match. Match 2 queued up here. Looking for our next opponent. A deck that 1 fills their hand with a lot of creatures, and 2 can play multiple creatures with our spot removal version of Rack here. Takes us down. No matter. We'll see how many other lists we run into. This one seemed to be Fringe. Granted, I can't say much. We're playing a Fringe list here ourselves. Soul Sisters, huh? Blast of the past. Hopefully this next one's a little more current, we'll say. Although there were current cards there in Soul Sisters. Match 2 coming up. Let's find our opponent and let's play some Magic. And we found our opponent. Here we go. I get to pick. I'm going to go, nope. You can play first, opponent. Maybe they'll just ignore that they didn't see that I won the die roll. Opening hand looks pretty decent here. We have a Luris. We're going to go ahead and keep this. No initial turn 1 play necessarily. I could lead with Rack. We do have Wrench Mine, though, looking good. Uh-oh. Wrench Mine's not very good against this opponent. Sigarda's Aid and a Memnite here. I'm not going to reveal I'm Rack. I'm just going to see if they bash me in with the hammer. This way, I don't have to show them much else. Memnite here, Steel Shapers, gets Colossal Hammer. We're taking a set of damage. I don't know what I need. I need a removal spell. Oh, they let it go. They let it go. All right, let's kind of fake them out a little bit, right? That's the name of the game. We'll play a Maze Mind Tome. They'll be like, black-white Maze Mind Tome? Yes, that's what we're doing. Check. We are waiting for different calls. Nope, not for me. Not them. Ink Moth booted up here. We're tapped out. I presume my opponent is going to infect us and turn 3 us. Yep. Well, there you have it. All right, so Wrench Mine's awful here. Smallpox, not so bad. Let's see what we can do here. In game number 2. Plague Engineers could be nice. I could see a Necromentia as well, or a Surgical if I can steal away the Colossal Hammer. Could be something. We'll think about that. Maze Mind Tome is way too slow. Lingering Souls is nice chump blockers. We'll consider it. Wrench Mind is horrific. Like all my removal. Like all this. So let's start here. So Kaya's Guile and the Planeswalker. Let's see here. I could see a Inkmoth Nexus being hard unless I Necromentia it away. Let's bring some Plague Engineers in. These seem like, just seems like the right thing to do. Can get rid of a pair of Davriels. I'm tempted to get rid of some racks too. I think we win this by eventually, yes, getting Shrieking Affliction down, but like just having the Liliana, might even Kaya ult as well. Does this feel right? Sacrifice 3 Plague Engineers, Lilianas, Smallpoxes, and the Blood Chiefs. I think we have to bring in anything that interacts. Our long game of rack is just not going to get us there. And I do like Lingering Souls as chump blockers in the air. Shadow Spear is a problem for us. We'll hope that's not going to be a thing. Not going to worry about Torp Orb. I know they have Stoneforge. I'm just not going to worry about it. All right. Let's go. Let's play first. We're going to play first here because I need to interact with my opponent. If I can Inquisition a creature away or something, that's great news for us. Bridge looks pretty sweet as well. All right, we'll lead with Urborg here on the off chance that I hit a Flagstones and want to use that. Inquisition, we have Memnite, Cranial Plating, and some Baubles. There's nothing really interesting about this hand. I guess I'll just take the creature. I'll just take the creature. Why not? They need to find a new creature. Not my problem they didn't have a creature. Plains, some Baubles are played here. We have some Silent Clearings. Nothing frightening thus far. Uses a Bauble here. They see an Inquisition. I suppose I don't mind Inquisitioning here just to see what the other thing they picked up. It's apparently just a Silent Clearing hand. That's it. Just Silent Clearings. That's all. New Memnite, making Smallpox look a little bit better. Silent Clearing played. Flagstones, 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 Flagstones. Lingering Souls. It's not a bad thing to pitch. I'm tempted to pitch it. I'm also tempted to get rid of the Urborg so they don't have just... They're not as healthy, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and smallpox here. I'm gonna get rid of the lingering souls because I can cast it out of the yard. I have the eliminate and the lingering souls here. I'm gonna get rid of a card from them, Memnite and a land here. I got rid of a silent clearing. Get rid of our Urborg. Looks good. I like our position here. Bobble draws. That's fine. Gonna play a silent clearing, I presume. Marsh Flats. All right. We have a Thoughtseize here, like that. Not gonna rush it out though. I want to kind of snag the Lyris if I can. We'll have this eliminate for whatever they play on the battlefield as well. Godless Shrine here off the Marsh Flats. Smart. Don't want to take too much with the silent clearings. Extra planes here. 3 mana and they put Lyris into hand. Plays a Bobble. And passes back. Checks the top of the library first. Flagstones. Let's go combat here. We'll snag Lyris before Lyris becomes a problem for us. See what other cards they've drawn since. Happens to be an Inkmoth and a silent clearing. Looking okay for us. Trying to chew this opponent apart here with our removal. It's working so far. Silent clearing. Pops it. Ornithopter. Bobble. Ornithopter's scary, but not the most frightening thing. Plague Engineer is an interesting one. Let's attack with the Spirit and see what my opponent wants to do here. If they block with Ornithopter, I'll play Plague Engineer to remove it. Smart they are. I'm gonna play Bridge here. If they get Sigarda's Aid and happens to have 2 Colossal Hammers, oh well. I'll play like they don't have that exact 3 cards here. Tapping 2 mana is a good sign. Plays an Auriok Champion. Plays the Inkmoth as well. 2 unknown cards. Go ahead and attack. I think I'll attack with just 1 Spirit this time because of the Inkmoth. And I do like the idea of using Plague Engineer to get rid of Auriok Champion here. We'll name Human. Cleric might be a little bit smarter. I'm trying to remember what Pure Steel Paladin is. Not going to worry about it too much, though. There's a Sigarda's Aid. Well, I'm glad I left a Spirit back, just in case Inkmoth is a little frisky here. Cards are looking good. I think I'll attack with everything now. Feel pretty safe here. And we'll just pass the turn with all of our removal up. So we have a destroy target creature, Planeswalker, convert a mana 3 or less, and then we also have the Fatal Push for the Inkmoth Nexus, 2 or less. Everything looking pretty good here. Stoneforge Mystic. Colossal Hammer. Does nothing here, so I'm just going to wait. And I think I just want to go ahead and just attack again here. Opponent's not interested in blocking ever. We'll just pass. Not only can we make them put this on before the combat step, we can kill just about anything they try to put this on as well, which feels pretty good. Opponent's got 2 mana here and puts a Pure Steel Paladin. This was a human. That's good. We'll let that resolve. They do attack. That's fine. Not going to do anything until they make me. We'll have the Colossal Hammer at least attach. And we'll go to kill. Nice. Let's fetch, and actually we can use this castle here as well. Just draw an extra card here, one more deeper. Blood Chief's looking real good. Raven's Crime doesn't look too bad either. Let's go ahead and kill the Pure Steel Paladin. We can attack with the team once again. I have the Eliminate. And then I have a Raven's Crime to make them discard a card here as well. Which we'll go ahead and make them discard. Cool. End up discarding a Marsh Flats. Looking good here with us, just our Eliminate left. 2 cards for my opponent. We have some Spirits in the Air. Boots up an Ink Moth. We'll allow combat through here. Currently my Spirits come back for lethal. We'll let Colossal Hammer hit the battlefield. I flinched. My opponent knows what's up. There we go. Should be enough here. 2 attacks with the Spirit should be plenty. We end up drawing a Liliana, can kill this as well. Looking pretty good. Extra Plague Engineer for Ink Moths. Is there anything I would like to change? I don't think so. This Torpor Orb's teasing me. I don't think I want it though. Send it back. Send it back. Here we go. Match 2, final game. Couple Kayas here, looks okay. Blood Chiefs. I'm okay with this hand. I don't think it's terrible. Being able to remove a creature is super nice. We'll see. We'll see if this is truly a card worthwhile. Memnite here. So Garda's Aid. So this is an easy pick off of the Memnite. Get a Swamp here. Blast the Memnite. We don't want that here. Smallpox looking pretty good as our follow-up. Be wonderful to have a Flagstones down before we do this. Steel Shaper's Gifts puts a Paradise Mantle into hand. Well, looks like I'm going to go ahead and play the Bloodstained Mire and just wait a turn. Extra land here. 2 mana. And an Auriok Champion. This is all looking a-okay for us. Guess I'll go get a Swamp here because we're about to sacrifice a Flagstones anyway. I'm sitting here staring at this Inquisition going, I want this instead. But we'll take a Smallpox here. Card to get rid of is maybe just the Flagstones here. I could also just do maybe a Kaya's Guile and use the Inquisition to pick apart their hand very briefly. So many Kaya's Guiles though. You know what, let's just get rid of the Flagstones. I probably don't need an Inquisition and Kaya's Guile. That's probably just super greedy. We're already getting rid of some stuff from their hand anyway. So kind of makes the Inquisition not as interesting. Go ahead, opponent. 1 land here. Paradise Mantle is still in hand. Inquisition in our hand. Opponent does nothing this turn. Well, we'll just see what's going on over there. Pure Steel Paladin and a Stoneforge Mystic. We'll get rid of the Stoneforge just because the Stoneforge... yeah, the Pure Steel Paladin will also allow them to draw here. But the Stoneforge gets them kind of exactly what they want, where the Pure Steel will just draw whatever this is. And they can attach this, that's fine. I'll probably Kaya's Guile and just make a creature. Yeah. Let's just make a dude. Make a dude. All good. Who knows what they've got? I've got this Blood Chiefs here. Blood Chiefs can kill Luris, can do all kinds of things. We'll see what, like a Memnite here as well. So we'll have Kaya's Guile plus Luris can be killed. I think I'm okay. We'll hold the extra land for the future. We'll hit for 1. We'll pass turn here. What I can also do is, so I don't have to use Kaya's Guile as aggressively, what I can do is as soon as Luris is cast here, I can exile and create a token, and then I can use Blood Chiefs on the Luris just without a problem, which looks like what I'm going to be doing here. So let's go ahead and exile all cards and create a 1/1. Looking pretty good here. Hooks it up, takes the 1 to do that, and ends up drawing with Bobble here. Well, based on where we're at here, let's go ahead and Blood Chiefs with Kicker, get rid of Luris, put a Shrieking Affliction into play, and attack my opponent for 2. That'll put them to 8. This will put them even lower, down to 5, I think. And with a Kaya's Guile here and needing a board state with 2 spirits, it may have this game locked up. Draws with Silent Clearing. At this point, I wouldn't play anything. Plays an Ink Moth. All right. Fatal Push is a hot draw. Let's go ahead and attack for 2. We'll make them sacrifice a creature, and we'll make a 1/1 black spirit token. Goodbye, Ink Moth. Fatal Push is pretty good here. Down to 3. Go ahead. We do have lethal now on board. With the Shrieking Affliction, I think we've put too much pressure on our opponent. Hammer Time gets taken down by the rack. Interesting. All-star card? I won't say it yet. Match 3. Up next. Match 3 queued up here, playing the white rack, Smallpox rack here in Modern. Taking the Dark Horse out for a trot around the league and seeing how we do. We've run into a very aggressive tier 1 list at this point in time, being Hammer Time, and ran into someone having a great day and just playing some Soul Sisters. Good for you. Match 3 opponent searching it up. Let's find one and let's continue to play some Magic here. Playing the rack. An opponent was found. Not bad, not bad. Hopefully I do not have to pick whether I go first or second. We're getting better at hitting the no button though. Dang. Oops, I skipped. All right, this is, oof. Double Inquisition and a Shrieking Affliction plus Smallpox here. Maze Mind and no third land or second land, making Smallpox look a little awkward here. I hate keeping this. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna draw that land. It's gonna be fine. Temple of Enlightenment. Uh-oh. It's like ad nauseum, right? Gives me the turn back. Top of the library is A. Their scry was on the bottom, by the way. Maze Mind Tome. Well, if we get our next land, we'll be in good shape. We have Pentad Prism, Sleight of Hand, Spoils of the Vault, and Athasa's Oracle. Interesting. I could take Spoils and Thassa's Oracle. I could also take Pentad Prism so that when they do get these components, they don't just get us. Let's take the Thassa's Oracle here. Combo's definitely frightening. I could have slowed some of the future combo by taking Pentab Prism, but then we're going to leave them with a combo piece. We probably would just leave them with a Thassa and hope they never draw the spoils of the vault. Maybe my opponent would get greedy and put that out on the battlefield. So this next Inquisition probably has to hit the spoils. Polluted Delta for our opponent. Fetching. This will more than likely put the Pentab Prism into play. Watery Grave fetch for our opponent. They don't care about their life total in this matchup. And the Pentab in play. Maybe they'll use the sleight of hand, but I could see them just waiting here. Need that next land. We do hit it. It happens to be a Flagstones, which is a bit awkward. I'm really afraid of a Thassa's Oracle just showing up and then we just die to the spoils of the vault Thassa's Oracle stuff going on. Obviously, I guess they need to not die from their spoils of the vault as well. This may be enough time to go ahead and do a Maze Mine Tome here. Give us a little bit of time here. They technically need, what, one more card? Polluted Delta is one of their draws. Feels good that it's... Polluted Delta. Feels very bad that my opponent could have enough mana to do everything here. If we get turn 3'd here, there's probably not a whole lot I could have done. Phyrexian Unlife is definitely very good. Pretty good card. Let's go ahead and scry. I will happily take a land off the top here. I want to Smallpox, but I also know that I probably don't want them randomly picking here. And with the Pentab Prism, that probably just doesn't matter as much. Wonder if I can wait on this Inquisition one more turn. We know it's all three of these cards, but I'm just... Spoils the Fault with the Phyrexian Unlife's probably just not a good idea, because they can just go get Thassas. And then, like, go from there. So let's go ahead and take the Spoils of the Vault. Put a Bloodstained Mire into play, and we can play an extra Maze Mine Tome this turn. And now I have a bunch of Scries here. Maybe I can find something to slow my opponent down further. Starts with the Sleight of Hand. We know they have Temple of Deceit. A little surprised them not playing the Temple of Deceit here. Just so they get a little deeper with that. So we've got some unknowns going on here. Temple shows up. Plenty of mana for my opponent, and the Phyrexian Unlife makes me super nervous here. Unless I hit like running Smallpoxes and Flagstones, we're definitely not going to shortchange them on their mana situation. Serum Visions. We'll see where these Scries go. These will be very important. I'd love to see both go to the bottom, but I expect 1 and 1. Nope, 2 to the bottom. Feels good. I'm happy about that. I don't believe I have anything for this Phyrexian Unlife. Necromentia is about all I've got, which we will be bringing in. It's a new Pentad. New Pentad. Okay, 1 card left. Not the worst. Let's go Scrying. Castle doesn't feel like what I want. Raven's Crime we could play with. We could play with. I do have a Smallpox. Raven's Crime, though, is kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and put this on top. This allows me to actually Raven's Crime the last card away and play a Shrieking Affliction. And then we can worry about the next card they have. It's a Swamp. And I can always find more lands here and draw cards with my Maze Mine Tomes, making Raven's Crime a repeatable effect here. With the Maze Mine Tomes and the Raven's Crime, something we didn't see in any of the earlier matches, this is looking pretty nice. We do need them to miss a few things. They do play the Breeding Pool out. All right, so they have nothing here. Let's do some scrying. I don't think I need another Raven Scrying. My opponent does have nothing in their hand. And extra land. I suppose I can put this on top. Play the Lingering Souls here to help beat down a little bit faster here. And then we have these Maze Mind Tomes helping us finish things up. I am going to play the land down, even though I have the Raven's Crime. I'm sure I can find another one in the future. All right, opponent, Shrieking Affliction, doing its thing. Down to 10. Plays the land. They obviously think I have a land sitting in here, which is okay with me. Let's scry once here. Let's bottom the Urborg. Could play Lingering Souls out of the yard here. Bridge is pretty useless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably want to do one draw and then one Lingering Souls here. Couple Smallpox is getting interesting. Interesting, it doesn't win us any games though. We do have lethal to Phyrexian Unlife on the battlefield with the Shrieking Affliction next turn. So this will be good for us. Where does this take us though? I don't know. Not entirely sure where we go from here. Other than our spirits just need to attack and take them down. Thassa's Oracle has been spotted here. Smallpox gets rid of that, so Smallpox will be fired off here. We will take a draw with the Maze Mind Tome, a Flagstones plus a Swamp. They did put a card on top of their library. That doesn't have me really that worried, though. All right, combat away. Attack with everything. Take our draw with Maze Mind Tome, see what else is below. Here. Another land. Lots of lands here. We'll go ahead and Smallpox. Thassa's Oracle. Probably can just get rid of a land myself as well. Hold Bridge in case it's useful. Goodbye Spirit, goodbye Thassa's Oracle, goodbye lands. Luckily we get to keep our land count. Doesn't really impact my opponent though. So my opponent is now happily at 0 because of our Smallpox and Spirit attacks. Shrieking Affliction is going to do some infect damage, I believe, right? No, it's loss of life still. We need the rack. We do have spirits though. Do I just die to an ad nauseum because of the Phyrexian Unlife? The answer is yes. I just died to this. Loss of life, huh? Loss of life. Let's make sure they have another Thassa's Oracle. They do. And they should have enough to draw another card here as well. There you have it. Ad nauseum, taking down the rack. Why? Because we're not fast enough. Glacial Fortress played here. It's pretty easy Thassa's Oracle and kill me. All right, so this is the combo. We have nothing for the Phyrexian Unlife. I believe rack reads damage, and it does. Shrieking Affliction making me feel a little bit about this. Necromentia definitely needs to come in. A Surgical Extraction could definitely come in as well. Otherwise, I really just need to be able to combo kill them. Probably Rotting Registar here just to be faster. Maze Minds did decently. I don't see Davriel needing to be in here. Kaya's a pretty quick hit him for a lot. I don't have much that would be exiled, though. I suppose we could bring in a Vampire Hex Mage against the Pentab Prism. It's super cute. I'm not disappointed with maybe that potential outcome. I don't know. I mean, like, we're not really trying to kill the creatures either. I mean, we need to be able to kind of kill them, but like, it's not our main objective here. Maybe just bring in a few. Let's just bring in a few Kaya's Guiles here. The other thing I could do is Ashiok and try to mill out what they've got going on. You know what? Let's do that. Pentab Prism's a 2-drop, so Kaya doesn't help with that. Bridge is really just not looking very good here. I suppose I can bring Kaya in because I'm bringing Ashiok. Try that. Rack doesn't even feel very good either. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. I feel like I can lose real fast to this combo. Well, we don't interact with my opponent's hand at all, and I have a random surgical. I think we can mulligan this. All right. Well, I can steal something. Let's do it. I'm not stealing anything. Who needed to steal anything anyway? That's just silly. Who tries to do that anyway? All right, we'll see if the double leyline hand means that we're good to go here. Maybe my opponent will be slow to killing me. Maybe. We will find out soon enough. Probably lead with Castle here. That way the Urborg's not out there helping their mana fixing problems. I feel like we're a super underdog now. The biggest underdog ever. Maybe I can get a Liliana just to help keep their hand in check here. I don't know. City of Brass. White-black. They're taunting me. This could have been for... Oh no, I don't have Urborg out yet. Just kidding. Well, we might be dead next turn. We'll go ahead and do a scry here. I like an extra Lingering Souls here. It's not the craziest, fastest clock ever, but we'll take the creatures as we get them. Are we dead? Did Leyline save you? Temple of Enlightenment. It's a good sign, sort of. And they're passing it back. All right. Maze Mind Tome number 2. I don't like this. Just bottom it. I'll take a natural draw. Inquisition, that doesn't do much for us. Let's take another draw here. Because I can play the Lingering Souls out of the yard. And we'll attack them for 2. I am then very likely to hit a land that I could double down on this Lingering Souls. We'll stop in my upkeep here. Getting more creatures on the battlefield feels like the right line. My opponent's Pentab Prism here, though, and having basically all the swamps that they need from my Urborg. It's just an Angel's Grace, land and ad nauseum away from a death threat here. City of Brass getting to tap for 1 damage. My opponent's opting not to use the swamp ability from Urborg. Unless this is just... I guess it's part of it. Doesn't matter. Never mind. They made black. It just is part of the existence of City of Brass. Whenever City of Brass becomes tapped, it's not because of the tapping of the mana. Temple... Hallowed Fountain, not Temple Garden. Phyrexian Unlife into play here. Gives them plenty of time now. If I can double down the amount of creatures I have, it'd be great. I had an upkeep on my opponent's stop, but hey. We're good. Combat. Attack with the team. Puts them to 12. Lingering Souls plus casted Lingering Souls here. Doesn't mean I'm going to have them at Unlife Death yet. Opponent's probably got about 5 more draws. We need to miss a lot. I'm sure of it. Polluted Delta is missing things. I don't feel like they would play a land if they were going to go combo off. I'm going to probably take a scry here. I don't really need to be wasting my mana. Well, I have Kalitas, I suppose. That would be a reason to just not take the draw. It's a one of. We could probably just take a natural draw and then draw with the Maze Mind Tome, and then we have 3 mana afterwards. That's probably fair and what we'll probably do. It's funny because Ashiok's looking terrible. Kaya's looking pretty. Yeah, Kaya's looking bad because there's been nothing in the graveyard. I suppose I went like Liliana. Smallpox almost hurts me more than it hurts my opponent. Let's take another draw. Fatal Push. Attack for 8 here. I can't see a world where Smallpox makes sense other than I can get rid of their Urborg. And I suppose 8 is just overkill here. Oh, I should leave myself with a Fatal Push option. Now that I'm killing Urborg, I don't have that. It really doesn't matter, though. They just combo off with Thassa's Oracle on the stack. Let's get rid of this Urborg. You've had enough black mana. Get out of here, opponent. Alright, they get rid of the Polluted Delta here, which is totally fine. Okay. Spoils of the Vault. This can pick up whatever they want, which will be Ad Nauseam, probably. Ad Nauseam is the follow-up here. It was Ad Nauseam. As long as they didn't mill over all of their win conditions, we'll be in good shape. Or if they did. They can now Ad Nauseam. There is a Thassa's Oracle milled over, but I believe we saw 2. So Ad Nauseam here, Thassa's Oracle. Don't think it's happening, not through double ley line here. Ad Nauseam fired off. Go ahead and get rid of this. We need to see Thassa's Oracle one more time here. It's funny because they did take 1 here from the City of Brass. They've used up all their Pentav here too. Plenty of Simian Spirit Guides though. There's Thassa's Oracle. There's the Spoils of the Vault. They've got it covered. Ad Nauseam takes down the Rack. White Rack struggling here. It is the underdog though. Match 3 goes to our combo opponent. We're currently 1 and 2 overall. We'll see you guys in the next match after my opponent wraps up here. We'll give them the luxury of doing that. Match 4, hopefully we can turn this around and make it 2-2 and make it for a fight to get that 3-2 overall. Smart of them, by the way, to leave 1 in the library. Could have gotten really aggressive with their clicking and could have died. Basic Swamp Blade. There's the Thassa's Oracle. And we're dead. 1-2. We'll see you in the next one. Match 4. Up next. Match 4 is our next one up here. Playing the Rack here in Modern. Smallpox variant or White Rack. Is it going well? I'll let you decide. Maybe a small punt there in match 1, but I don't think we played terribly bad afterwards. Kaya's Guile was really good. And we beat Hammer Time. That means something. That definitely means something. We'll see where we go here. We'll see what our next opponent is. And hopefully, once again, I don't have to pick whether I go first or second. I hope my opponent gets to choose that. We'll see what our opponent's got. Match 4 up next. And we found that opponent. Easy does it. Ugh, I've had to play pick all the time. I accidentally keep hitting that no button. It's so strange. All right, Alera's here. 2 Shriekings, removal spells, and a Blood Chiefs. The hand looks reasonable against the Alera's opponent. We'll go ahead and keep this. And they begin with 7 cards as well. They're on the plate. Good luck. Marsh Flats. Fetching immediately. Blood Crypt. And a creature or Thoughtseize? A creature. Nice. Alright, pretty easy Blood Chiefs here to get rid of the Swift Spear. My opponent plays a Bauble as well. One of these cards that replaces itself. Plays a new Bauble. Looks like we're going to get hit for 3. Sees what we're drawing here. It's a Liliana. That shouldn't really surprise my opponent too much. Blood Chiefs takes that out past the turn. All right, opponent, you could steal this Liliana. What are we gonna do? If they don't have another land, this is a super easy Smallpox, even though I have a 3-drop. I presume they have a second land here. Black mana makes me think Inquisition or Thoughtseize as well. Inquisition. If they don't have that second land, you can guarantee Smallpox is going goodbye. And it is. Let's go ahead and we can shock in here. We'll put 2 Shrieking Afflictions down and pass the turn. No real reason to hold these now. My opponent knows what's up. Now we just need to clear their hand. Thoughtseize takes away our Liliana. Good steal there, and they get to see the Bloodstained Mire. We'll play our Blood Godless Shrine tapped and pass. They don't know about the Swamp. Red mana here. Smelling of Swift Spears or Soulscar Mages. Or Bomat. Attacks for 1, puts a card underneath. Alright, we have a Flagstones here. We're going to put the Bloodstained Mire in and pass. Go fetch a basic Swamp. Opponent doesn't know about both of these cards currently. And my opponent finds their next land. Good for them. Ay. This doesn't look good at all. Opponent's got quite the aggressive hand here. Hits us for 3, puts us to 10. Tucks another card under Bomat. Play Flagstones and pass. Flooding out here. Any spells are probably going to kill us here. My opponent needs 1 bolt, and that'll be 9 damage. Attacks for 3. Does nothing else here. We're so close to death. So close. And the follow-up is a Kroxa. So we take an additional 3 here because there's 2 swamps. I haven't drawn another card since they Thoughtseized it away. Top of the library is a Smallpox. Well, we'll at least throw it out there. I die to a lot of things here, as in anything. But I'll toss it out. Maybe we can top deck a Plague Engineer that's in the sideboard? I suppose a Lingering Souls and my opponent not having a bolt would do. It's an option. Bauble kills us. Bauble kills us. Bomat and the prowess on the Monastery Swift Spear here. Alright. This is a Kaya's Guile matchup. A Kaya Orzhov Usurper. Kalitas isn't a bad idea here either. I'm not so sure an Ashiok's terrible as well. To me, a few Thought Seizes can be pulled out because my opponent's a Lurrus deck. I do like my Smallpoxes eliminates Lingering Souls. I'm not sure I like Davriel as much, considering what I'm bringing in. Get rid of a Raven's Crime as well. That's 5 in, 5 out. Do I like the Ashiok? I suppose a Wrench Mine and an Ashiok could switch. Theory is that I can at least get rid of Croxes. The bad thing with Wrench Mine is my opponent could have Bomat, or they could also have a Mishra's Bauble. Not the scariest things, but definitely stuff that makes the Wrench Mine just not as worthwhile. We don't necessarily want to fill them up with a lot of creatures either, so... I'm going to go ahead and play second as well still. Even though my opponent could Thought Seize us, I think I'd rather see them doing that than anything else. Opening hand looks actually pretty good. We'll keep this. Flagstone, Inquisitions and stuff looks good. I'd love to draw an Urborg off the top. Little Swift Spear in for 1. 2. Bauble. Prowess Trigger. In for 2, 18 to 10, 20. Starting things off here. Bauble Trigger there immediately. Let's go ahead and use Inquisition to see what's going on. We have a Soul Guide Lantern, a Death Shadow, and a Scourge. They can play the Scourge here, so I don't like that. I don't care about Soul Guide Lantern. So pretty easy. Take the Scourge. Give it back to my opponent, see what else they can do. I'd love to not be behind with the Smallpoxes here, so I'll probably delay playing one of those out. Bauble played, Prowess Trigger on Swift Spear. We know about a Verdant Catacombs. Plays the Lantern, gets rid of our Inquisition. No worries. Hits for 3. Verdant Catacombs played. Death Shadow, an unknown card in hand. Kalitas is in hand. That's really a good card. Alright, so next turn will be Flagstones and Smallpox. Fetching with the Verdant Catacombs and Shocking in here. Takes an extra draw with the Bauble. Probably can safely just get a basic Swamp here with the Polluted Delta. Probably am not too frightened by getting an Godless Shrine as well. Extra Swift Spear here plus Bauble. This gives my opponent 4 damage. Plays a land as well. Death Shadow in hand currently. They delay on the Bauble. This means this Smallpox clears a creature, which is super nice. Go ahead and fetch out a Godless Shrine on the off chance I pick up another one. I don't want to because my life total does really matter here. Alright, bonus Liliana here. Let's go ahead and fire off a Smallpox, getting rid of a Lingering Souls. The Smallpox hits the Death Shadow as well. I think I want to get rid of this Lingering Souls. Could get rid of a Liliana. Let's get rid of a Liliana. I've changed my mind. Alright, they lose a land here, so they can't put Lurrus quite in the hand. Flagstone's trigger. We'll go get our Godless Shrine here. If they don't play another creature, it could be an easy Liliana downtick. Could also be a Smallpox if I top deck a Flagstones. Looking solid so far. Opponent will draw, and they could draw with the Soul Guide Lantern as well. Something they could have done to protect the Death Shadow in hand. They're probably realizing this now. Bauble trigger. Draw with the Lantern, and draw for the turn. Love a land here. Kalitas would be a really nice one to play in play here. Looks like we might be playing, and we do. Lurrus is in hand, 2 unknown cards here. I might have to just play another Smallpox here, getting rid of the Swift Spear, making them discard. Worst case scenario when they do finally get this Lurrus down would be they get a Bobble back. I could then Liliana, hopefully. We'll see what the top of the library gives us. Shrieking, huh? Smallpox sets me back. At least I get a blocker, I suppose. I'll just hope that they didn't draw a land. Let's give it a shot here. Sets us back from Kalitas, but I think it's okay. We'll see how okay it is in a moment. I am going to hold on to a swamp on the off chance my opponent decided Blood Moon was a good idea. I don't really need that much white. Engineered Explosive and Swift Spear hit the bin. Lurrus in hand and an unknown card. So if it's land plus Lurrus here and I hit a land, then Liliana takes care of this. Land. So Lurrus played. Here's our line. It's got to work out for us. Come on. Bobble replayed and can redraw. Come on, land. Need this real bad right here. Come on. That awkward moment when that card will work. I just get rid of Kalitas and pray. All right. I think we're praying now. We'll get rid of Kalitas here because it's so far away. They'll get rid of their Lurrus. They'll discard their card. We'll get rid of a swamp here. We'll just hope that what they rip off the top doesn't kill us too fast. Lingering Souls here in the yard, plus the Shrieking Affliction impacting my opponent. With any luck here, the Shrieking Affliction will do enough here and the Lingering Souls will be enough over this top. Fingers crossed here. Obviously they can play at anything at 2, but I think killing the Lurrus here is smarter. Albeit, not great. We're thinking. We are thinking, do they play something? If they play something, the Shrieking Affliction does more damage to them. I'm pretty sure they know this is a Liliana. I basically need a land so I can chump block, and if I'm able to find that land and chump block, then a Death Shadow or a Scourge may not be enough to kill. And by playing something, they might be making themselves set up to die. Cantrips a Sunbait Canyon here to keep themselves above Shrieking Affliction. I don't mind that. Marsh Flats here. Does nothing else. I'll get lucky with an Inquisition here. Let's see what they kept. Really? You're telling me Raven's Crime would have been better? Go ahead, opponent. Down to 6 they go here. That's really awkward. I just need a land here for Lingering Souls in the yard. I do find it. My opponent does not drop anything, so we know 2 of the cards are lands. Lingering Souls from the yard. Go ahead, opponent. Good luck. This is a clock. We're at 6 versus 5. It's a clock and a half, actually. Inquisition's away my Liliana, which is probably a good thing to get rid of in case I top deck the land. That's it. We do top deck the land. I know my opponent could play a Croxa here, so I'll slap down the land here. Down to 4 they go. Oh, ho, ho. Kaya's Guile off the top. Let's go. Bowmat. Okay, this is interesting. They can attack me down. This puts me to 4. Take a Raven's Crime off the top. Wish I held that land now. Raven's Crime. If I do a Raven's Crime here, let's go ahead and start there. Bloodstained Mire gone. If they get a Bolt or a Croxa, we lose. Staying back, what does that gain me? Stops this. But so what? If I stop this, so what? I have 2 attacks to kill. Let's assume my opponent attacks and they've missed. They can play this land down and crack this. They find Croxa or Bolt, they win. Croxa or a Bolt, they win. I don't think I can play like that. In we go. Make them have to have it here. Snow Covered Swamp, unknown card. Your move, opponent. Go ahead and attack. Our Lingering Souls are lethal. Too many draws if I just attack with the 1. Not worth it. Too many draws and they get to play a land. I think this is the better line here. Make them have Bolt or Croxa. If we would have held the land for the Raven's Crime, it would have worked nicely. Although we played around Croxa, so gotta give it to us on that. In for 1. My opponent has thought about it briefly. Second card underneath. Connects. Down to 3. Oh, don't have it. Don't have it. Leave me alone, Bomat. They have to crack. If they don't have it here, they have to crack. Spirits are lethal right now. Gosh, what if they had an engineered explosive? Oh, oh. Well, they don't have Bolt. We would be dead now. So they're deciding what to do. Land played. We're going to crack Bomat. We're not cracking Bomat. Okay. Lingering Souls, number 2. This is an easy attack for us. Combat we go. It's not even bad if they have K-Command here. K-Command, kill 1, pitch this. 2 damage. Oh, they drew a K-Command. They're going to pick up a creature here. Oh, it's a K-Command. It's not even bad. Okay. They return a Swift Spear. We do 1 here. And we play new Lingering Souls for 2 creatures. Go ahead, opponent. That's a tough one. K-Command makes it tough. All right. Swift Spear and 2 unknowns. Swift Spear will be 1 of the red. You can attack with both and you can sacrifice Bomat, getting 3 cards. If you do that, you've used up 2 of your red and you only have black left. Croxa kills us as well. We're just dodging. Dodge. The only card I care about blocking is the Swift Spear. Blocking the Bomat doesn't change anything. I don't believe they have... Well, I guess K-Command they have, which could be 2 damage. That might be worth it. Bloodstained Mire is played. They can't fetch with this, so that's a dead card. Should have just held on to that. Opponent attacks. I will block. It's a pretty simple block here. Really, no reason not to. Not blocking here puts us in K command location. They sacrifice to look at 3 new cards. I guess it's okay to put the Bloodstained Mire in. I just don't think you want to be doing that in case you accidentally crack it. Those 3 cards you had, Bomat, were any of them lethal? Well, it's not lethal, but it keeps them alive here. Don't crack that fetch. Urborg. Urborg's a great draw because I have a Raven's Crime in the yard. Should be lethal because of the Shrieking Affliction in play. Cracks the Engineered Explosives. Lingering Souls. And a Raven's Crime them. Pitching Urborg. Is this it? Did we get there? Pitches the Swift Spear. Shrieking Affliction trigger. Ooh. Ooh. Ay, ay, ay. Scary. All right, so we've sideboarded. We have what we have. Kind of want to bring in an extra Raven's Crime. Obviously, I need the different removal. Shrieking Afflictions and the rack seem to do okay. I don't know if Davriel makes a whole lot of sense to bring in. Not sure Plague Engineer does either. I think we just got to go with what we have. We got some nice Maze Mind Tomes to gain life, Kaya's Guile to gain life, Kalitas to gain life, lots of Lingering Souls. We're sending him back. Ooh, that was a tight one. It's a good match 4. Good match 4 regardless of the outcome. Except if we lose, then it's a terrible match 4. Obviously. Opponent is chosen to play first. Opening hand looks fairly good here. I'm going to go ahead and keep. Blood Chiefs, 2 rack effects, Smallpox, and a bridge to finish it up. Not disappointed. I like hand disruption, but we can't always ask for that. Blood Crypt for our opponent here. Leads off with a red creature, and it's a Bomat. Probably worth killing, I would think. Flagstones is a nice find here with our Smallpox. Let's go ahead and Blood Chiefs this away. If they do play something that is viciously nasty here, we can smack down a Smallpox here quicker. But if not, we'll be in good shape here, Smallpoxing a little bit later with the Flagstones and following it up with probably Bridge. Bridge should buy us a lot of time this game. That is the hope. Playing a Shrieking and a Rack here does expose us to an Engineered Explosives. We'll just maybe hope that's not a thing. Ah, now I can be a little slower here. Let's start with an Inquisition and see what they have. There's the Engineered Explosives. Goodbye. We'll play Shrieking Affliction first. Of the 2, it's a little harder to cast. And also noting that it's not as easily removed by, say, a K command. Thoughtseize here, I presume, will take a bridge. That would be my assumption. They have plenty of lands here. We're going to get a Rack and a Smallpox down next. They may not even care about bridges much because they have K command. Rakdos usually does decently against artifacts. Red's very good at removing artifacts. Not interested in our Smallpox. That's fine by us. Likely to get this bridge down next then. Probably looking for a Liliana. Liliana would help our Shrieking Affliction a bit here. Oh, Liliana. What's up? Well, we know the 3 cards are Blood Crypt, Soul Guide Lantern, and Lightning Bolt. I could play Liliana and just get rid of the bridge. They didn't seem too worried about that. And with the Lilianas here, see if we can't win from there. Let's go for it. I think being a bit quicker here is smarter for us. I could also just get rid of this rack and just leverage the Shrieking Affliction. That might be better because of the potential future creatures. Let's do that, and let's not do the rack. If they have a K command, they're probably killing us either way. I don't think I need rack plus Shrieking Affliction to win this game. They're going to just hold cards like crazy until they can start interacting with us. So ditching rack here and getting bridge. I have more Shrieking Afflictions and more racks. I don't have more bridges. My opponent puts a Soul Guy Lantern in the bin. I think this is a slight mistake. That being said, they could just get it back with a Luris. Fetching here, Blood Crypt. Bolt and Blood Crypt. We'll see if they want to bolt this. They do have 2 red here. They could bolt and put Luris into hand if they wanted to. Opting not to. What do we got? What was our draw? A difficult draw indeed. By the way, that Liliana was very nicely timed there. Dodging their Thoughtseize. Pretty sweet. They know exactly what we have in hand. Do they want to play anything? They have to keep in mind that playing anything will get Shrieking Affliction going. I think this turn, if they don't want to play anything, it's a simple just put the Luris into hand and send it. Then look to be getting Luris down with the Bobble. That's what I'm thinking. They can bolt Liliana and basically trade Luris and Bolt for Liliana. Night's Whisper, draw 2 cards, and you lose 2 life. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Now what? I'm at a healthy 19, which is actually very healthy against this opponent. Opponent is thinking. Being that they don't have 2 mana, although they have the Blood Crypt, I suppose that Night's Whisper is looking for a way to potentially get rid of the Liliana. If they do that, though, they're going to be pretty much dropping their entire hand in order to get that. I think they could be playing slow here. This Blood Crypt is probably what they'd like to discard to the Liliana. Getting the hand back. Extra Liliana here. All right, well, I think it's just going to have to be bridge and uptick here with the Liliana. Even though maybe I don't uptick this turn. This way I could theoretically downtick with Liliana. I guess if they get a Bomat or something else that gets rid of this Liliana, it's awkward. Let's just go up. Let's keep their hand close. Any discard spells are going to be really, really good for us. So a Thoughtseize goes away here and a Liliana for us. They bolt our Liliana. See if they have that extra bolt here. This would be the turn to have it. Making black, 3 mana. Could be a K command here too. K command 2 damage, kill the bridge. It's not a bad turn. That's what they do. All right. We hit another castle. We'll pass. We'll probably be using these castles. So my opponent's had some pretty good draws here. Luris to hand here. Castle hoping to rip a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition for us. Looks like we're doing something with red mana here. Engineered on 1 to get rid of Shrieking. Follows this up with a Scourge as well. And the Blood Crypt. Wow, we went all in here. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and draw. We have ways to get rid of the Scourge, just gotta find them. Rack is definitely not one of them. Kaya's Guile, though, is... Wonder if I just fire this off and what, gain life? Gain life's probably better. And make a gain life and kill the yard here. Let's see here. Exile cards from opponent's library and gain 4 life. I guess I wouldn't mind getting this engineered explosives. I just don't see myself getting that. All right, Shrieking fires off here. I imagine this engineered explosives is going to try to kill this at some point. That will be the hope. Giving me a little bit of breathing room here. I can use a castle again, and I don't have to worry about a future Scourge. If they are able to play Lurrus down, it's not like this Scourge immediately comes back to us right now, which is a good thing. Pops Engineered, good for us. And puts a Swift Spear in. This is perfect. Looks great. Removal spell? No removal spell. We'll play a Rack back down here and pass turn. They're gonna take 3. Cool. Lurrus to hand. Lurrus is in hand. Hits for 1. I'm gonna draw with the castle. I know this activates the Scourge here, but I do need some interaction here. Take a double draw, hopefully. Whole lot of nothing. Let's go for it again. Uh-oh. All right, Rack does a point of damage this time. We're looking at as best as we can for a way to get rid of this Swift Spear. Opponent can put a Lurrus down and put an engineered explosive in on 1. 1 kills their own Swift Spear. Lurrus, though, it's pretty good. Wonder if earlier I should have waited for the Kaya's Guile to get this engineer explosives. Could have also taken the Scourge and maybe just been okay with being a little bit lower in life total. It's tough to say. Looks like Lurrus is going to show up here. Okay. And most were playing an engineered on 1. Does an extra point of damage here as well. This may not matter because Lurrus is in play. Prowess trigger. All right, top of the library gives us another land. 1, 2, 3. Activate. Come on. Maze Mind Tome. Really not liking where we're at here. Let's go ahead and scry, see what else we've got. Definitely don't want that. We'll stop. Actually, I don't need to stop on my turn. I have so many lands here. Opponent takes a point of damage, but we're about to get hit for 4. I'll probably play this Scourge as well. Need some chump blocking. Play Scourge. Lurrus got a lot of value here. Maybe I didn't want this a lot of value here. Hits for 4. Although I haven't had anything that would have killed Lurrus anyway at the moment. Can I have a Bantu's Damnation? Those aren't in the list. Okay, Lingering Souls is an interesting one here. If I draw, I have enough to play Lingering Souls as well, so I can take a draw here and see if I hit something a little bit different. Which is an absolute no. We'll play Lingering Souls and we'll bring it back. And I'll probably just hold all of my lands here. Holding all the lands is kind of an interesting one. Just because if I do find that Raven's Crime, we can go after them quite a bit. All right, Engineered comes back on 0 after popping it. We didn't think about this with the Luris. So with that, our opponent finds a good line here, ends up beating us. Did we goof up earlier when we tried to do the gain life and not worry about the graveyard as much? Maybe with the Luris, maybe I just don't need to draw as many lands. There's the Raven's Crime. Shrieking's Inquisitions, and then Kaya. Kaya doesn't get rid of this. I need to go back and watch and think if that would have helped us. Maybe it does, because Luris doesn't get that value there, and we wouldn't have to deal with the Scourge. We have no idea what they have in hand, though, so it's hard to say. And then what am I supposed to do? They'll just attack me with the Scourge there? Do I just take it and not worry, and they just wait? Tough to say. Match 4, though, done. The underdog, the rack list. We'll see you in match number 5. Match 5 here, final match. Looking to finish off here with the white rack here in Modern. The underdog of this series, this league. Probably playing about how I expect rack to currently be playing. We'll find out, though, if we can steal one away here. Match 5 coming up. Let's find our opponent. And let's play some Magic. There we go. Final match found. It wants me to always play first. I just keep accidentally hitting the wrong button. Couple Godless Shrines here, Maze Mind Tome, and a Smallpox. Plenty of lands this time. Probably will go ahead and keep this, although Inquisition Thoughtseizes Fatal Pushes are a bit nicer. Opponent is mulliganing, though, down to 6. Temple Garden comes into play tapped. Inquisition's not a bad pickup here. Let's go ahead and start with that. See what our opponent's up to. Well, I saw a Collected Company, and that is about it. That's about it. Temple Garden number 2 here. They do shock this one in. They play a Scavenging Ooze. Well, let's go ahead and fetch just another swamp here. I think it's completely fine at this point to use Smallpox. I have so many lands. Let's get rid of one of these Godless Shrines here. Get rid of a land. Can play Maze Mind Tome next. This sets them back 1, and also the Scavenging Ooze dies. Pretty happy with that. They get rid of their Gavany Township, and they lose a Temple Garden. We'll be looking at probably just another Maze Mind Tome here. Rising Canopy, and that is it. We can just castle this time. Maze Mind Tome. Pass the turn. Looking pretty decent here against our white and green opponent. We'll take a Scry. I'll happily take that Liliana. Let's go ahead and shock in here. Liliana. Uptick for value. Marsh Flat's gone. Go ahead, opponent. Good luck. Collected Company hits the bin. We have our opponent on a stranglehold here. Not even going to worry about this Maze Mind Tome. Land. Davriel. Downtick. Uptick. Pass turn. Collected Company here. Final card is a Collected Company. We'll pass the turn. Davriel trigger, down to 15. My opponent's found a Windswept Teeth and cracks this Windswept Teeth. Temple Garden tapped, no other actions. Gonna work with drawing with Maze Mind Tome after playing new Maze Mind Tome. Up with Liliana, and we'll go ahead and use a Maze Mind Tome, and we'll pass the turn. I think we've got this one on lockdown. I could be wrong. We'll see, though. There's Heliod. Take a Scry on this Maze Mind Tome. Smallpox. We'll put this into hand. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use a Lily to separate, give him Heliod and a non-pain land, and then the pain land. Let's go ahead and draw. Trying to find another land. We do find another land. Let's put a Liliana down as well. We'll scry with this one. Bottom and pass turn. I'm not going to even uptick with the Liliana. With a Smallpox coming here, if they play like a Birds of Paradise or something, I want to be able to kill that. Windswept Heath fetched for my opponent, Temple Garden, and just passing the turn back to us. Got plenty of things to do here. Let's draw some cards. Oops. Draw. Just uptick, Raven's Crime to the bin here. I've played this a little bit sloppy here, not having double black for the Smallpox. Not going to really worry about it. Smallpox, my opponent, getting rid of a land here. Dabriel should be enough here. My opponent concedes after being smashed by Rack. All right, so we've got creature-based matchup here. I've got some cards that are going to be very difficult for me to deal with. Probably okay to bring these Plague Engineers in as well. Plague Engineer for the Auriok Champions my opponent will no doubtedly be playing. Probably okay to get rid of Bridge and the Maze Mine Tomes along with a Wrench Mine here and begin bringing in a smattering of Plague Engineers and Kaya's Guiles. Let's get rid of a Lingering Souls and one extra Plague Engineer and try that. So in our past we've played, and I've liked kind of this setup where you have a bunch of these Plague Engineers. It's been beneficial. I like this opening hand. We have an Eliminate, Plague Engineer, Smallpox, and Raven's Crime. These all look pretty decent. Hopefully we don't kill that Temple Garden. That would be just miserable. That would be just miserable. It's Raven's Crime. Pass the turn here. Smallpox looking pretty strong here. My opponent ditches a land. I don't think that's a smart idea. Misty Rainforest. We'll see what they've got at 3. It's Heliod. Inquisition's tempting. Let's Inquisition because Smallpox could probably be a little bit better. We have the Call, we have a Skyclave, and we have a Walking Ballista. I suppose I'll take the Call. We can kind of get rid of everything else. Walking Ballista doesn't totally scare me. I could Plague Engineer that away if they end up playing it. There's a new Utopia Sprawl. Smallpox looking real strong here. Playing Walking Ballista, Smallpox just looks exceptionally strong. Alright, so I have a Walking Ballista. I can get rid of a land here and Skyclave won't be castable. Does mean that I won't be able to cast my stuff, but that's probably okay. Yeah, let's just Smallpox. Might even just get rid of the Verdant Catacombs here as my land. Probably just a Plague Engineer, as bad as that feels. My opponent won't have anything in hand. We got rid of extra lands here. We're just looking pretty good. An Auriok Champion's obviously the worst thing we could see here. Play a Raven's Crime, land down, and pass turn. We also have, or sorry, not Raven's Crime, Shrieking Affliction. We have Eliminate, we have the Liliana here. Everything's looking according to plan. Afraid of maybe a Collected Company, but we'll soon get that out of their hand as well. Play a Liliana here. Uptick. Get rid of the Godless Shrine and pass the turn back. It was a Collected Company after all. Shrieking Affliction trigger. Down to 10. Looking pretty strong here. Horizon Canopy for my opponent. We'll just uptick here. I'm going to hang on to eliminate. And we'll just pass the turn. See if they pop the Horizon Canopy or not. Probably not. Takes 3 down to 7. Extra Horizon Canopy here. Smallpox, huh? Not going to worry about firing off a Smallpox. I like the idea of the eliminate here. I think this card's a lot stronger than a Smallpox here, being at instant speed. Opponent picks up with a Horizon Canopy. And follows this up with another Horizon Canopy. If we use the Smallpox, I lose my eliminate, and then they probably just don't cantrip those. Here we go. Collected Company spinning the wheel. Spike Feeder Plus. Arbor Elf. Well, let's interact with this right now. Need to make sure that Heliod doesn't make this horrendously bad for us. Does make Arbor Elf a little bit stronger here. I'll take a land. If I can take a land, I can Raven's Crime and use the Liliana downtick, which I do get. Which I think is what I want to do. Although Castle could be a nice draw engine for us. Let's go with the draw engine. This might be a mistake. An extra Collected Company would be really awkward here. But I like the idea of Castle to get more lands for Raven's Crime and Liliana upticks here. We'll go ahead and fire off Castle here. There's not a whole lot I could do against a Collected Company anyway. This hand looks good. Davriel. Make them discard here. Here comes the Collected Company. So we're going to get the other card, and I can at least Liliana downtick here. Or maybe I won't. Skyclave plus Auriok Champion's pretty good here. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good couple cards there. So I should have gone up with the Liliana instead of trying to be cute with the Castle Locthwain. This has probably costed me this game. I will pass turn. However, Heliod getting to make some life here, even though I'm going to hit them for 6, put them to 4. Heliod's going to make itself... Oh, Spike Feeder. Well, all right. That'll do it too. Life gain from the Spike Feeder, infinite here. I can't beat that. So, kind of want this Wrench Mine back. Wonder if Necromentia wouldn't be a bad thing as well. Just name Heliod so they can't combo out. Better than a pair of Lingering Souls here. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. I know I have a one of Surgical Extraction as well. I don't want to play first, I don't think. Maybe I should. Let's play first. Last match. Maybe I can steal something from my opponent. We'll keep this opening hand as well. Alright. Here we go. Raven's Crime here. Begin the elimination. Basic Plains hits the bin here. Arbor Elf. Looks like a great elimination target. Don't think I want to Raven's Crime. Could also wait on this, but 4 mana is kind of frightening. All right. Let's not make it too crazy what my opponent could do. I have Liliana and Plague Engineer. Interacting with my opponent just in this fashion feels correct. Can name a human with this one. And this way, we get rid of that. Cool. All right. Liliana, Rack, Polluted Delta. I can play it all. We can start getting rid of their hand here. My opponent continues to play here, which is good for us. Heliod's in play. Extra Liliana. We're not going to be cute this time. Liliana, Rack, and Uptick along with attacks. My opponent has to play more things here. There's a Walking Ballista. I wonder if my opponent just has a Spike Feeder. If they have a Spike Feeder, we might just have to play on. Smallpox, huh? Smallpox, huh? I have to fire this off, don't I? If I fire this off, we get rid of a land. Collected Company is one of the dangerous things. Auriok Champion could show up, but I have Liliana for down ticking on that. A lot of mana is dangerous for this list. I think we have to do this. I do lose Plague Engineer. Goodbye, Plague Engineer. It was nice having you. This just feels more correct. Especially with the Liliana after the fact. They got rid of a Heliod here and they lose their forest. Opponent goes to discard here. They have a call, it seems, in hand maybe. Rack Trigger and one Collected Company gone. Arbor Elf. That's what I'm talking about. I could kill this. Let's look at what they've got. Last card is a Collected Company. In that case, I'm just going to go up here. I'm not too worried about a 3-drop other than Spike Feeder. This also allows Rack here to target them, and if they do have like a Spike Feeder or something, then we just lose. Little Heliod here gaining life with the Arbor Elf. They did play a Horizon Canopy in, so this Liliana can down tick on this Arbor Elf now, which is looking real good with the top deck Davriel. Remove the Arbor Elf from play here. Collected Company is not a problem. Davriel in play. Opponent's going to take 6. No Spike Feeder. One time. No Spike Feeder right here. Down to 1. Actually, they can't because Horizon Canopy. No, they do. No, they have 1 life. Cantrips. Davriel's 2, not 3. Did we get there? 2-3, bringing it back. Opponent's interested in playing a little bit more Magic here. So we'll make sure they know what happens when you play a little more Magic. Extra Shrieking Affliction here. Uptick with Liliana and down tick with Davriel. This should be lethal. And there we have it. 2-3, White Rack, Smallpox Rack. In Modern. We'll see you in the conclusion. 2-3 overall, White Rack here in Modern. Decided to play a white variation as we don't feel like the red rack version is maybe as well poised with Kroxa. And really, it was kind of interesting because the Lingering Souls did help beat us down in opponent at one point in our matches, but maybe red rack really is the better rack list when you splash a color. It was really great to see how frequently Smallpox did benefit us, so that was super good as well. I think Kaya's Guile still is one of the best cards that I've been seeing playing, and I'd actually like to see that mainboarded. The Maze Mind Tomes were kind of interesting and definitely had some value there to maybe enhance your Raven's Crimes as well. The whole Raven's Crime, get a land off a Maze Mind Tome was an interesting interaction. This is a 7 rack list, which doesn't totally surprise me as I think just rack in general is struggling. A lot of things, as previously mentioned, can trip and find themselves an extra card in their hands. And so with that note, rack may be the underdog, but rack can put up a fight, as we saw here. We might have been able to take 3-2 with a few quick, tighter plays there on a few of our early matches as we got warmed up with the list. That's been it. Started the year with a rack list, ending the year with a bit of a rack list as well. Thank you for watching. As always, consider hitting that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next matches. Take care and be safe.